Welcome into KeyBank Center in the Seneca Sports Lounge. Boy, it's great to be here on draft night, and the number one pick is in the books for the fourth time in Sabres franchise history. They select first overall, and if you were expecting the unexpected, I think you should have expected the expected. The first-ranked skater is Owen Power, and he's a Buffalo Sabre.
Yeah, and what was great is to have fans here in the Seneca Sport Lounge and people all around Kevyn Adams as he was getting ready to make the selection. People were like, tell us, we want to know. And you could have that stare, that cold look in Kevin's eyes. Like, I was trying to read him to see if maybe something unexpected was going to happen. And no, it was Owen Power, and I love the pick. Listen, he's a big, strong defenseman, but where it switched for me is when he got to play for Team Canada, the World Championship. This is not the World Juniors. This is not the Under-18. This is the World Championship with pros, with guys that have been in the league for 10, 12 years. And Gerard Gallant was his coach, and he trusted him in the latter part of the tournament. They struggled at first, and then he says, you know what? Like, we don't really have anything to lose here. Let's put him in a position to see what he's got. And he really delivered, Duffer. He played well all the way to a gold medal. That is where, in my mind, I was like, it's Owen Power. He's going to be a fantastic NHL hockey player, and he showed at the World Championship, which was awesome.
The assumption is that it's another year at Michigan for Owen, and the pressure, but more the maturation that you believe will come with that. Now, the reason I mention pressure is because if he and most of the others and Luke Hughes all end up at Michigan this year, which is very much expected, the expectations for the Wolverines program is sky high. So there's that pressure. But what do you believe can come from that and the potential of maturing for another year at the NCAA level for Owen?
Well, last year was a very weird year for every hockey player, and especially the ones in Ontario. Now, Owen Power is from Mississauga, but he's at Michigan, so they didn't play a full schedule. So I want to see what it's going to be like for a full season from game one to last game, playoffs, national championship. They have aspiration for a national championship. Learn that for Owen Power. I think it's really important. So that's one thing. Now, could he be NHL ready? I think he could. You know, he's got the size. He's got the skating ability, great vision. He's not going to be like Rasmus Dahlin. He's not that flowy guy that's going to go through everybody on the ice and is going to wow you with these offensive skills, but he can do those things in his own way. So I think he's NHL ready, but the fact that they're going to have such a powered team at Michigan next year and they have national championship aspiration, I think you let him marinate, let him develop in Michigan, and then that is going to be how he's going to grow into his body, get stronger, and come to Buffalo even better prepared, probably in a year from now.
You obviously noted the World Championship experience from your personal standpoint. That's why you noted it, because you've lived it, you know, and you often didn't see young players step into that environment and be trusted that way. When you go through the rest of Owen Power's resume, whether it be his standout performance in the USHL before he ended up at Michigan, whether it's been with Canadian teams or whether it's just the size and the intangibles that you hear of from either your viewings, Sabre Scouts viewings, or the experts that we talk to in our draft profile series coming up. What are the things that really jumped off the page for you about Owen Power?
I think size is number one, but a lot of time players that are 17, 18 years old that are 6'6", they don't skate well. Listen, my brother was a 6'7" defenseman. And when he was 17, he was Bambi on ice. Listen, his legs were going all over the place. Owen Power's strong.
How heavy was Matthew compared to Owen?
He was probably 210 pounds
also
at the
about
time,
the same.
so it was about the same. But he didn't have the same skating ability that Owen Power has. And listen, you talked about the World Championship. When I played for Team Canada in 2003, we had a young kid. He was in the National Hockey League, but still on the verge of becoming this superstar, Jay Bouwmeester. And Bo was just on the verge to be the player he became. And he showed it at the World Championship. He was voted best defenseman of the tournament. He won a gold medal. We all won a gold medal. And at that time, you're like, hey, you've stepped on the scene now. This was your stage. Sometimes it's guys in the NHL playoffs. Sometimes it's the AHL playoffs. For some others, it's the World Championship. And what we saw out of Owen Power is the skating is where it needs to be. Sometimes you think they're going to lag behind because they grew so fast. It's not there with Owen Power. He didn't lag behind. He's right up there with his skating.
We hear of and speak often of player development. When you think of that now in the context of Owen Power, what do you believe would be the areas of focus for this young man, not only in this next season, wherever that may be, presumably Michigan, but then moving forward at the pro level? Where are the touch points that you want to see the organization have, the approach, the handling, the guidance that every young player needs to have?
Well, he's a big defenseman. So you hear the coaches talk about stick on pucks all the time as a defenseman. He has that because he's so lengthy and he has the reach. He's going to get a lot of stick on pucks. Where it needs to grow into a 6'6" beast on the blue line, it's to eliminate after. And I don't think that Owen Power right now has that physicality to his game. It can develop. It takes a little bit of time. Victor Hedman had zero physicality when he entered in the National Hockey League.
Right.
Now he's a beast on the ice. He goes sticks on pucks and he eliminates right after, and that takes players out of the game totally just for that. Chris Pronger was the same thing.
For sure.
Now, listen, comparing Owen Power to Chris Pronger,
Yeah, you might want
Victor
to
Hedman,
pump the brakes on that one.
Let's dial it back a little bit.
I don't think he'll ever, although I should never say never, develop the nastiness of one Chris Pronger. Those have been few and far between, I think.
There's a few suspensions along the way, too. So, but what I'm saying is that as a defenseman, you can be quick with your stick, get the play, and stop it at the blue line. Now, would you grow that beast mode a little bit? And I'm sorry if it's copyrighted because Marshawn Lynch was on the program the other day. But anyway, it's to be able to eliminate, separate the man from the puck, work hard down low. I don't think he has that yet, but it's hard at the university level, college level. It doesn't play that same physicality.
Sure.
So it's going to grow in the National Hockey League, but he's definitely got all the tools.
All right. What would be the feeling, I guess, that you believe was felt by this crowd here tonight when the pick was announced?
I think they were all thrilled. And people started chanting, Owen, Owen. I was like, hey, what are you going to say, Power, Owen? And then there's a Let's Go Buffalo. So
see, I'm already envisioning, the signs, Owen
Power. Yeah, exactly. A lacrosse style, bandit style, sign and chant, right? We got to develop chants for players. But anyway, the fans were excited. They showed the video, the skills. They showed him with his family and putting the jersey, the hat, everything, which was great. As I assume it was his grandma right next to him. So proud, right? And it's definitely a cool moment. And now, a little twist this summer because we're not going to get a development camp. And because he's a college player, he won't be able to come into training camp unless he was signed to a pro deal to transition to the NHL. So we may not see Owen Power here in Buffalo for a full year. We may look at next summer's development camp for him to come in first, and then we may know more if he's going to turn pro at that point. So for those that think, hey, we're going to get to see him this summer in camp, and maybe he makes the team, maybe he doesn't. Because he's a college player, the rules are a little different, so we may not see him here for another year.
The one fascinating, I believe, storyline that could develop from this Buffalo standpoint would be him going back to Michigan with all the aforementioned top-end talent in front of him. And I say him, meaning Eric Portillo, the Sabres prospect in goal. This could be a real reason for this market to be following Michigan hockey this year.
It's not that far. We'll be able to cross through Canada to go to Detroit and go to to Michigan.
Take the long way. You'll hit more concerts on the way.
Well, you could, as you would probably do. But I've been to Michigan, and I've watched University of Michigan game, and it's a lot of fun. So you want to see Sabres prospect, Portillo in net, obviously Owen Power on defense, and they're going to have a really good team. So make the trek up there and cheer them on.
All right, stay with our social media channels. Obviously, we'll have Kevin Adams a little bit later on when he wraps up the evening by speaking to the local media, and we will look forward to having a conversation with Buffalo's first overall selection as well in Owen Power. We'll see you soon from KeyBank Center.